Want to study errors in measurements. So errors simply means mistakes. Okay. So in simple terms, think of you have been asked to measure your height. So you measure your height to be 1.3 meters. Okay. Then, not knowing that you have made a mistake, your actual height is 1.2 meters. So the difference is what we call an error. Okay, so there are different types of errors. Okay, the first one is called absolute error. Okay, so absolute error can be, depending on how the measurements have been given, can be found in three different ways. The first, they can give you, for example, they say the true value called TV is 2.3 and the measured value it's 2.1. So absolute error, I'll just use AE, but you should be using the full word. It's you do a line, then you say true value minus measured value, a line. Okay, which in actual, this is the formula. So this means 2.3 minus 2.1. Okay, so 2.3 minus 2.1, you get 2.3 minus 2.1, you get 0.2. Okay, now the way to remove these lines, they simply mean that if the answer inside is negative, don't write the negative sign. Okay, if it's positive, then it's okay. So the answer is just 0.2 since here it's positive. Okay, another example can be like this. Okay, let me just erase everything. Another example can be like this. They can give you a true value of 1.4 and the measured value of 1.7. Then absolute error is true value minus measured value. Okay, so true value it's 1.4 minus measured value is 1.7. So here you get negative 0.3. So the answer is 0.3. Okay, these they're just telling you don't write the negative in the final answer. Okay, that's one way to find absolute error. Okay, the other way is they can say a measurement was recorded as 2.34. What is the absolute error? In this case, for you to find the absolute error, the technique is like this. You turn all the numbers into zeros. So this 0.00. Then at the end, you write a 5. So this is the absolute error. So absolute error is 0.005. Always you have to write a 5 at the end. Okay. So whenever they have given you a single number, find the absolute error of this. Okay, you just turn everything into zeros. Then at the end you put 5 when you have turned everything into zeros. Okay, so absolute error is you can't write two zeros on the left side of the point. It's better just write 1. Okay, this is the absolute error. The third type of question that can come is where they write something like this: 2.03 plus minus 0.01. Okay, 2.03 plus minus 0.01. So this is how measurements are recorded in science. Okay, so this part is the error. Okay, this part is the actual measurement, this part is the error. So when they bring a question like this, they say find the absolute error. Absolute error is just the 0.01. Okay, so now on such type of questions, they can also ask for a quantity called tolerance. Okay, tolerance. So in this case, tolerance is always equal to 2 times the absolute error. Okay, so it's 2 times 0.01. Okay, which is going to be 0.02. That's the tolerance. Okay, So such kind of questions, they can also ask you tolerance, and tolerance is just 2 times the absolute error. Absolute error is just this figure. So those are the 3 ways to deal with the absolute error. So there is also a concept of minimum value and the maximum value. Minimum value, which means the smallest number possible from a recorded measurement, and maximum value, the biggest number possible or from a recorded measurement. So if they have given you a figure like 2.34, then they ask you to find the maximum value of this measurement. All you do is first find the absolute error. The absolute error of this one is 0.005, right? Okay, this is the absolute error. So to get the maximum value, all you have to do is maximum is you get the number, you add the absolute error, okay, which is going to give you 2.345. That's the maximum value. So you get the measurement, you add the absolute error. What you get is the maximum value. Okay. On the other hand, to get the minimum value, you subtract the absolute error from the number. Okay. So in short, to get the minimum value, you do 2.34 minus 0.005. So you start subtracting. So here there is nothing, right? Okay, so nothing minus 5, we can just put a 0 there. 0 minus 5, not possible, so we can get a 1 from here, so that we remain with 3, and 1 we put there. 10 minus 5, 5. 3 minus 0, 3. 3 minus 0, 3. 2 minus 0, 2. So this is the minimum value. So recap, maximum value, you add absolute error. Minimum value, you subtract absolute error from the measurement. Okay. So finally, we learn about other ways of measuring errors. Okay, other ways of measuring errors. Okay, the first is called relative error. Relative error. So relative error, or RE, I'll use RE because of space, is equal to absolute error over true value. Okay, so it's absolute error over true value or over the given value. Okay, so for example, if they have given you this 2.35, they said they ask you to find absolute error. Absolute error, we know that we turn everything into zeros, like this, then we put a 5. That's the absolute error. Then the relative error is going to be the absolute error 0.005 over the true value, which is this figure 2.35. That's the relative error. Okay, so relative error is just absolute error over the true value, or the measured value, so to put. Then after relative error, there's also what is called percentage error. Okay, so percentage error is just relative error multiplied by, okay, let me just write it down. So percentage error, right? Percentage error is just relative error times 100%. Still not enough space. Okay, so percentage error, I'll just use E, is equal to relative error times 100%. Okay, so percentage error is relative error times 100%. Okay, so the relative error just multiplied by 100%. Example, you have been given this value 2.84 plus minus 0.03. Okay, so what is the absolute error? Absolute error, we know that it's 0.03. What is the tolerance? Tolerance, we know that it's 2 times 0.03, which is 0.06. What is the what is absolute error, tolerance, relative error. So relative error is just the absolute error 0.03 over 2.84. What is the percentage error? So percentage error is this number 0.03 over 2.84 times 100%. Okay, so my main interest is the percentage error, so let me continue it. Okay, so percentage error 0.03 over 2.84 times 100%. Okay, so 0.03 times 100 is 3 over 2.84%. In an exam, these will be good numbers such that you can easily simplify them. Okay, may I just pick random numbers. Okay, so what I wanted to emphasize on is the answer should end with a percentage. So this is everything about errors. So sometimes there is a way they structure questions in an exam. For example, they can say the mass of a dog was measured to be 20.3 kg. That is paper 1. Complete the they can say the mass of the dog M was measured to be 20.3 kg. Complete the statement below. Okay, so what they want is you to write the minimum value here and the maximum value here. Okay, that's what they want. So you get your measurement 20.3. You know that, okay, you have to turn everything into zeros and 5, so you have 0.05. okay, so this 0.05, for you to get the maximum value, you have to add it to here. Okay, and if which of course and if you want to get the minimum value, you have to subtract it from there. Okay, so you get the maximum and the minimum value. You can start with the minimum value, which is 0.05 minus. Okay, so you can put a 0 here. You get 1 from here, remains with 2. 10 minus 5, 5. 2 minus 0, 2. 0 minus 0, 0, and 2 there. So 20.25. So it's 20.25. Okay, maximum value, you do the same. 20.3, you add 0.05, you get 20.35. okay, so because here to be 0 plus 5, 5, 3 plus 0, 3, 0 plus 0, 0, 2 plus nothing, 2, so it's going to be 20.35. so this is how to complete a statement. Okay, but there are more tricks that they can try to bring. Okay, for example, they can give you that there are two measurements, x, which is 1.3, and y, which is 0.2. okay, they can ask they can ask you to find the maximum value of x plus y. Okay, maximum value of x plus y, meaning that what is the biggest number you can get when you add x and y. Okay, so you have to, for you to get the biggest number, you first have to find the biggest number of x and the biggest number of y, then you add them. Okay, what does that mean? That means that you need to find the absolute error of x. Okay, so we know 1.3, we're talking about 0.05, and when we add these, we get 1.35 as the absolute error of x. I mean as the maximum value of x. Also for y, 0.2. Okay, we turn everything into zeros, we put a 5. When we add, we get 0.25. This is the maximum value of y. Okay, which I'm going to call x max and y max to show maximum value. Therefore, the maximum value of x plus y, okay, is going to be, so max x plus y is just adding these maximum values, 1.35 plus 0.25. okay, what you're going to get is the maximum value. So the concept is, to get maximum value, of two numbers which have been added, you have to add the maximum values of each of the numbers. Okay, to get the minimum value of x plus y, you have to get the minimum value of x and the minimum value of y, you add them. Okay, that's how it is. So these are not things that you can be taught direct, because by thinking you can see the relationship, but I'm going to show you some simple formulas. Okay, so maximum value, for those who are interested, of course, maximum value of x plus y. Okay, it's let me just put it here. So maximum value of x plus y, it's x max plus y max. Okay, so this should be max here. Then minimum value of x plus y, it's x min plus y min. Okay, so minimum values, you have to add the minimum values. Okay, what about multiplication? What's the maximum value? What's the maximum value of x times y? Okay, so again, it's just to get x max, you multiply it with y max. Okay, and minimum value of x times y, it's x min times y min. So addition and multiplication, they are direct. X max, y max, x min, y min. Okay, so they are just direct. It gets complicated when you go to subtraction and division. Okay, so what about subtraction and division? Okay, the pattern for maximum of x plus y is just to add the maximum values. The minimum for x plus y is to add the minimum values. The maximum for x times y is to multiply the maximum values. The minimum of x times y is to multiply the minimum values. But for division and subtraction, it's different. Okay, so for example, if they say maximum value, okay, maximum value of x divided by y. So how do you get the maximum value of x divided by y? If you have two numbers, 20 and 30, okay, if you divide them, okay, let me put something simple, 20 and 2. If you divide them, if you get a calculator, 20 divided by 2, it's 10, right? So if we say maximum value of 20, we add a 5 here, and here also a 5. Okay, maximum value of 2. So 20.5 divided by 2.5. Okay, it's going to give you a number less than 10. Okay, is it then yeah, it's going to give you a number less than 10. Okay, and if you get the minimum value of this one, which is 1.5, and you do 20.5 divided by 1.5, it's going to give you a number bigger than 10. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this so that you know that for division, to get the maximum value, you have to get the maximum value of the first number divided by the minimum value of the second number. That's how you get the maximum value, okay, of the division of two numbers. X divided by y, it's x max divided by y min. X max divided by y min. Okay, and if it's to get the minimum value of x divided by y, it's opposite. You get x min divided by y max. Okay, the same is true for subtraction. To get maximum value of x minus y, okay, so here's the thinking. You have x as 2.3 and y as 1.4. So we know that x max, it's 2.35. okay, of course you get it from the absolute error, then you add the absolute error to the given value. and x min, it's 2.25. okay, and here y max, sorry, 2.25, and here y max, it's going to be 1.45, 1.45, and y min is going to be equal to 1.35. So if you want to get the maximum value of x minus y, if you subtract the maximum values 2.35 minus 1.45, you're going to get a number which is going to be smaller than when you subtract x max, when you subtract y min from x max. Okay, we're trying to see how can we get the maximum value using these four numbers, okay, where these numbers are the first since they are the x and these numbers are the second. Okay, so if you do this minus this, the number you're going to get is going to be smaller than this minus this. Okay, that's the thinking. Okay, because of that, the pattern is as follows. Note that if you don't understand this part, it's okay if you can master this part. Okay, it's okay, but if you think about it, it can be easy to come up with the formulas, but otherwise this one is easy to master. I don't want to spend too much time on this because most of you are not interested in knowing the science behind the numbers, just want the formulas. Okay, so with that, so maximum value of x minus y follows the same pattern as division. You start with x max, then y min. Okay, so it's x max minus y min. Okay, and the minimum value of x minus y, it's opposite. You start with x min minus y max. So these are the 8 formulas you can come up with when doing such kind of questions, or finding the maximum value of two numbers which have been added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided. So these are the 4 which have the same pattern. Then times and divide, plus and times have got their own pattern. So this marks the end of this topic.